So in this video, we have a woman who's going to share a story about how her friend divorced her husband of 11 years, all because she was bored. All right. So I'm gonna let her share the story, and then I'll share my thoughts.
So recently I caught up with an old friend and she was telling me that she got divorced, and I was so surprised because her and her husband were such a cute couple and they had been together for 11 years. So I asked her, like, what happened? I figured something bad happened. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like, my husband, all he did was work. I was a stay-at-home mom. We had 3 kids and I just got lonely and bored. And she says that when she would bring it up, like, he would take her out, but it was just boring to her. Like, she needed some excitement in her life. She just felt like she was just a mom and a wife, and her husband just wasn't doing that for her. And she had other friends that had, boyfriends, or like they had just got married, and they were always going out, always going on vacation, always partying, like going to the club, going to the bar, hanging out with friends, and they did none of that. And when she would bring it up to her husband would always tell her, like, I gotta work. Like, they had a big house, they had nice things. Like, he was just trying to work. So they.
I don't know who said this, right? But when I think about this, when someone said that if you want to make a woman miserable, give her everything she wants, right? And I always found that thing to be funny. I don't know who said it, but I always found that to be funny because a man can do everything he's supposed to do, right? Provide, protect, and provide stability in a home, and still, for some reason, a lot of these women, they find some reason to be unhappy, right? And obviously, him having to work. I mean, she's staying at home. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He wants to make sure that she's able to, stay home, not be stressed out, and making sure that she's taking care of the home and the children, right? Because what if he did this? What if he said, you know what, let me work less, and then obviously she would have to probably work to pick up the slack. She probably wouldn't be happy with that either. Right, because she's gonna be stressed out doing whatever she needs, and obviously the kids gonna have to be going in daycare. It's just another added expense, and it's just sad to see that she chose to divorce him all because she was bored. And also, what doesn't help is that the fact that she's comparing her relationship to other people. Right, whether it's the people that's in her immediate circle or people on social media, she's comparing her life to other people and seeing other people have fun, and she's comparing it, saying, you know what. And who knows what's going on in her mind. Maybe she thinks that her husband's not a good husband. He's not doing enough because she's not experiencing the life of other people. All right. Instead of talking, of course she spoke to her husband, but he's working. Like, so what do you want him to do? Okay. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a man to make sure he's providing and protecting his family. And still you find it in your heart to say that, you know what, that's not enough for you. Okay. So let's let her continue and then see what she got to say.
Ended up getting divorced, and now she's single, she lives alone, she's working, and she's dating. So then I told her, oh well, that must be exciting, like dating and stuff. And she's like, no, I fucking hate it. And I was like, why? And she's like, because all they want to do is just have fun. They just want to go to the club, they just want to go to the bar, they just want to hang out, have a good time, and then that's it. She said no one wants to help me out. Like, I'm trying to find someone that's gonna help take care of my kids.
Imagine that. She look at all these dudes want to do is smash. Like, what the heck do you expect them to want to do? That's all they do. And now she's talking about she wants somebody that's gonna help take care of your kids. You had that when you had your husband, right? You see that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You say you want one thing, all right, I'm bored. Let me get some excitement. All right, you go to the bars, you go to the club, and you find guys that's gonna give you that excitement. And then you come to find out, you know what? That's not what I want. I need some stability. I need somebody to help me take care of my children. Well, you had that with your husband. And it's just that, you see, this is the problem with a lot of these women. Is like when it comes to this decision making, they tend to make, choose to choose wrong, right? Make bad decisions, right? They go with whatever their emotion is feeling, and they think, you know what, whatever I'm feeling must be the right feeling. I got to follow that emotion. And I see other people having fun. You know what? Maybe the grass will be on the other side. It's like, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can find something that's better than what I have at home. And then you come to find out you don't, and you can't. And then you know what? It's hard to get that back. All right, so let's continue.
It's like, I just want someone to be a provider, not just a good time. So I was all like, well, wasn't that what your husband was doing?
Exactly.
And she's like, I know. And I guess now her ex-husband is dating someone, like, seriously. They have been divorced for a total of 3 years, and he has been dating this girl for 2 years. She has 2 kids, and they're already living together. She says that he's fully taking care of her. Like, The girl doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom. They haven't had any new kids, but they're planning on having kids. And she's pissed because she's like, how can he move on so fast? Like, I can't even find nobody, and he just found someone so quick.
Of course he's gonna find somebody, right? It's not. I mean, look at for a guy, look at man. All you gotta do is find a nice woman that's that's if you could just find a nice woman that's just feminine, she's cool, hang out with. You could find someone, right? Even though for a lot of guys it's a struggle, but for her now she's trying to find someone that's gonna provide her that stability, and it's very difficult to do that, right? It's very difficult to do, especially if you're an older woman. You have multiple kids. It's going to be much more difficult for you to find someone that's going to be that provider and it's going to provide that stability. You had that with your previous husband. Now thinking that you're going to go back on the dating market as an older woman with kids, it's going to be damn near impossible. But for a guy, look, if we got kids, we can just find a nice woman that's going to be kind and cool to chill, hang out with, and we can make that work. All right. So now that she's regretting it, she's seen that the grass isn't greener. It's a lot more difficult to find somebody that's going to provide her. It's going to be a lot more difficult to find someone that's going to give her the things that she wants when she already had that.
And he didn't even want to give us another try, like blah blah blah. And I was so confused because I was like, okay, so you divorced him because he was always working and you were bored. So now you are single, going out, having a good time, dating. But you don't like that. Now you want someone to take care of you, a provider. And your ex-husband, all he wanted to do was be a provider. That's why now he is dating someone who he has no problem providing for her and her kids. And she's pissed because she's like, why would he go and find someone who has kids? Like, he already has kids. Why would he want to take on that responsibility? And I'm like, wait, aren't you looking for someone to take on that responsibility? I was just giving her a hard time, not gonna lie, because it was kind of funny to me because I was like, I could tell that she regretted her decision. I could tell. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people do shit like this where they get divorced for reasons that are not, I'm not gonna say they're not valid because everybody's feelings are valid, but they're fixable problems. Like, I don't know if you guys have this wrong idea of marriage that is supposed to be like fun and happy all the time. It's not. I feel like every relationship literally depends on compromise. Like, you gotta compromise something. You cannot have everything. And to be honest with you, like, if she was willing to give up on him that quick, like, maybe she just didn't love him that much. Because I cannot even imagine just me being like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna divorce my husband, like, no, you figure it out, you work it out. But I could tell that she's regretting it because what she thought she wanted is not what she thought she wanted.
You know what? I'll give this woman credit because, there's a lot of women that won't hold their friends accountable. They'll tell them all the things that they want to hear. It was like, oh, you know what? You don't need him. You're doing all good by yourself. You'll find someone. You'll find love, and don't worry about what he's doing. Don't stress about it. But she's actually, holding her to account, which is that's a good thing because a lot of these women won't do that with their female friends, right? They'll just tell them everything that they want to hear. And she's telling like, hey, you had all these things with your husband, and then you let that all go because you were bored, right? And this is the thing, it makes no sense because a lot of these women, it's like they just can't, when it comes to marriage, they can't stick through it anymore. They can't do it. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with social media, because if you look at couples in the past, right, in the olden days, your grandparents, I'm sure what made it easier for them to stick to, because it was never fun. Like, I'm sure they weren't always happy, but you see them, they've been together for like 30 plus years, and I'm sure they weren't always happy, but what they didn't have was social media to compare their life to, right? So that probably helped out. But for now, a lot of these women, it's like they're comparing their lives to other people, and they're just saying, you know what, maybe I can find something better, right? And they're like, I wonder what it'd be like if I were single again and I'm out in the dating market again, and then you find out it's pure garbage, right? It's not what you think it's gonna be, and it's just amazing that now you see guys like, you know what, these women aren't willing to stick it out anymore. So like, what's the point of getting married if 5-10 years down the line the woman's just gonna leave and just break up the family, all because she's unhappy, she's bored? Like, guys are like, what's the point? Like, there's no point of even going through that whole process, right? Because for a lot of women, it's easy to go get, for the engagement, the wedding, preparing for a wedding, going through the ceremony. It's easy. It's a lot of fun to do that. However, the process starts after that. Right? Can you stick through the process? Can you go through the process of raising children? Going through the times where it is, the man has to work. There's not a lot of fun throughout the relationship. Can you stick through that? And a lot of these women are just proving that they can't. They're just like, you know what? It's so easy for them to just break up the family and just say, you know what? Let me leave and go somewhere else. Right? And then I'm going to take care of me. Right? It's all about me, not about the family. It's about me, which is a very selfish attitude. Right? You build a family. It's a lot of sacrifice. But for a lot of these women, it's just like, you know what? I feel inside that, you know what, I'm bored, I'm not happy. Maybe I can find something better that's going to make me happy. And then you've come to find out you don't. All right. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.